to talk about something that I think everybody and their brother has been talking about this summer. It's Malik Beasley.
My brother's been
Now,
talking about that. Yeah.
yeah. So there's been a lot of, I think, speculation and assuming because people just don't know. I was watching Pat Bev's podcast, and apparently they ran into each other in Europe. And Beasley told him, I'm going to be on the roster next year. I don't really have the full quote put up in front of me. I can just kind of paraphrase off the top of my head. Basically said that he was chilling, feels good. He seems like he was in a good place. But what do you guys kind of make of, Pat Bev's pods and his comments? I know you could probably try to take it with a grain of salt, but do you think there could be a possibility we could see Malik Beasley on an NBA team this upcoming season?
I don't want to. I can't say 100% either way. But if I were to, I don't even want to use this expression. But if I were to bet on it, I would say no. I just don't think. Like it
That
seems
was
like
intentional.
no, not at all. Shout out Malik Beasley. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's in good spirits because it seems like it's two different perceptions right now. You see what he's posting on social media. He seems happy as can be. He's on vacation with his woman. He's working out in Miami. Like he seems like he's just trying to, post through, all the noise. And on the other side of that noise, it's not really a whole lot that's indicating that we may be seeing him with the Pistons or anybody else anytime soon. Again, we haven't seen a whole lot of updates in terms of what the investigation is. There's been other news that's come out about him that's not really, hopeful in terms of what his life is alluding to right now. So it I don't know. It just doesn't really look good for him right now. Again, I think he needs some help. I think he needs some support if it's as bad as what these reports are indicating. I think the NBA should kind of have some stuff like this in place instead of just dropping the hammer on their players. I think this kind of support would be helpful for them. But again, if I were to, take a risk, I would say no. It doesn't look like it based on what we've seen thus far.
And I think, for Malik, I obviously I think he has every reason, to, again, innocent until proven guilty to, to advocate for his innocence and to, try to get back into the league. And if he is innocent, if he's proven to not be, involved in this scandal, there will certainly be teams lining up. And I certainly think it's not a coincidence that Detroit has an open roster spot and hasn't said a lot about the Malik Beasley situation other than they had to pivot. And it's unfortunate. Like, I think there's a reason why they've been hush-hush about that for the most part. But having said all of that, again, it's really just that's the thing that makes it so difficult is this is not within the control of the NBA. This isn't even an NBA investigation. This is a federal investigation. This is happening, with the FBI. And even though there's been a lot of information that's come out, there's been things like the Pablo Torre podcast episode that, had a lot of revelations. There weren't really a lot of actual revelations about Malik Beasley's involvement or what, where he's actually, kind of found, to be involved in all of this. And even the stuff that's out there, the game that he's allegedly being, investigated for, it's a game where the prop bet was an over on or an under on rebounds. And he went way over. So as Amin Al Hassan said in that episode, if he's in on the action, he really sucks at it. So the thing is to say is the evidence that's out there isn't necessarily super convincing, but that doesn't mean that there isn't information that we're not privy to and that the FBI has. And I think that's the big question coming out of the PTFO episode, and just, kind of going forward is what other names could we hear? How involved, to what extent is everyone, that's been involved? And is the scope beyond what even's been found out? And I think that's the big question because, I think in a few years, I'm sure athletes will start to see the cautionary tales and, we'll start to see this ramp down a little bit. But I think, we could see a real big wave here of a massive scandal. And, it's just, I think Malik Beasley, unfortunately, is just, a victim of circumstance and bad timing as of right now, just of, that coming out 24 hours before he was going to sign that contract. Just from a human element, I know a lot of people are burying him right now, but you got to feel for the guy, especially with all of the things that have been public about the issues that he has going on. Again, you just, from a person perspective, you just hope he's all good first. And primarily, hope he gets back in the league, not just, obviously that'd be great for the Pistons, but to get some, to just get some income and to be able to, just get his life back on track.
Yeah, I mean, just from a human element, I'm wishing him well, praying
Yep.
for him because like that's his livelihood. Like, it sucks seeing all these publications today write something that's not actually really news. Like we already knew that he didn't pay his rent. He just hasn't paid his rent in 2 months, and they're calling it breaking news when it's not really breaking news.
No.
It's, I saw that today. I'm like, was that really worth an article? Was that really worth?
And being real, Anthony, you and I both know about way more, way higher paid athletes in Detroit who have had issues of not paying rent to high profile landlords. And so, this isn't a Malik Beasley exclusive thing, or even like a uncommon thing for people in higher tax brackets. Like people just stop paying because like they don't care.
Or even just humans in general. I done missed my rent a couple times. Like it happens. Like I feel like people feeling like entitled to feel this information. It rubs me the wrong way completely. Again, I understand some of the frustration in terms of how it impacted the Pistons and the team, but like JB talks about all the time, like in terms of injury with players, like the human comes first. Like your livelihood comes first, and based on what we're seeing, it seems like he needs some help for real, and hopefully he's getting that respect and that resource for him because it doesn't seem good right now.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that today, and I was like, wow, really? That's what we're doing, and it's kind of convenient because he went on his Snapchat yesterday, first time he's talked since the allegations, and you can tell, a lot of that noise, whether it was that YouTube video with PTFO, or which was a really good deep dive. I mean, I got my popcorn. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like that was just such a good episode. But to your point, Sean, like there wasn't a lot of things pointing that Malik was actually like betting on himself. And like Amin said, like if he was, he's pretty damn bad at it. It's just a lot of assumptions because someone decided to just put a bunch of money on Malik Beasley rebounds.
Yeah, it really wasn't a Malik Beasley story. If you watch the podcast, it's really more about, like the other people on the outside who could be implicated in this bigger, scheme of it all. The only thing we have is those people named Malik Beasley as someone who could be investigated.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's so many elements to this. There's the, alleged gambling. There's the, debt off the court, which, to be honest, it's none of my business, like what he does off the court. I'm strictly covering him as a basketball player, and that's just how I do these podcasts. Like if he has trouble off the court, I'm not going to come up here and gossip and look like a jackass. I'm just not going to do it.
This isn't not going to do it. I'm with you.
Right.
No. And I think another thing a lot of fans just don't really understand is they think, well, he signed a $6 million contract. He should have $6 million. They don't get the full amount when they sign these contracts. That's why they're so outrageous. I mean, you got to pay state taxes here in Michigan. He's got agent fees. You got to pay into the NBA. You got to pay into the CBA.
Like, a lot of these guys have trainers. A lot of these guys, work with nutritionists. A lot of these guys, have, like personal situations and things that come up. And also like, there's just the fact that, like before that, he was making like 16 million a year at one point. In Minnesota, and even just like all like the story, like a lot of people like, oh well, he was in jail before. He's clearly is dumb. It's like even if you read up on that story, like he was kind of screwed over by the state of Minnesota, whoever was putting together that home tour program, because I mean that situation shouldn't have even happened.
Yeah, I mean, like how are you gonna put someone's house on like a tour in Minnesota and then not tell them about it, and then you got people coming up on your property? I mean, I know he, allegedly, because I'm like reading this article, he pulled out a firearm, but like if someone comes on my property, like trying to get into my house, like looking through the windows, what the hell am I supposed
when he
to
roped
do?
Off the driveway, like a very clear sign of don't come in.
Right.
Yeah, just weird stuff. But all that to say, like, you know, like even if he is guilty of what they're being accused, I'm not in the business of like coming out to bash the guy. It's unfortunate that people find themselves in these, you know, in these situations, and this just comes back to like everyone's human and everyone makes mistakes, and it's just a sign of we have zero idea of what actually happens with these people when they're off the court, when they're at home, when they're, you know, when they're beyond that. And that's why we talk about guys like Cade Cunningham for his leadership and for his character traits, because that's like, it pays an awful lot when you can have a guy who's real great on the court and you don't have to worry for a single second off the court.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some Pistons that we've probably watched and we've seen them, you know, off the court not do things you probably want them to see to do. I'm not going to name any names, but I mean, you guys could probably connect the dots. But you know, I'm wishing him well. I really am. I'm wishing Malik well. I hope he isn't charged with any of this stuff, because that would be really awful. Don't want him to get like the Jonte Porter treatment of never being able to play basketball again. Like they won't even let Jonte Porter play basketball overseas. Like they denied it, like straight up. Like you're just gonna, you know, bet on yourself again. Like
oh my God, I didn't even know that.
Jeez. Yeah, he tried to go play overseas, and a judge overseas said absolutely not. You're not going to be playing basketball anymore.
Oh yeah, no, he pretty much has zero ability to make income off of his ability to play basketball going forward, which is really unfortunate, because with his skill set, like I legitimately thought he could have had a 5, 6, 7, 8 year NBA career.